Hi, I'm Triple G with Self-Defense Offense Channel, video 10, and today we're going to be covering stalking, and then hopefully we'll get to children, and then children's child sexual abuse. The stalker cares about you a little bit too much in a psychopathic way. So the stalking, 1 in 6 women are stalked. I did not realize those odds were that bad. I had no idea it was 1 in 6. So that means we have a lot more males out there that are not emotionally stable. Dangers of stalking don't end with unwanted phone calls being followed, threats, or even property damage. Stalking victims are more likely to suffer from anxiety, insomnia, social dysfunction, severe depression, and of the increased harassment. So Jason, which is from Spy Escaping Evasion, wrote this, and he wrote several tips. And he wrote about one relative of his that called him up and said, "I'm being stalked," and she hesitated even in calling him. And the guy's like, "Where are you going now? I really like that red shirt you're wearing today. How come you're getting home so late? And who's that guy I saw you with?" And just watching her every move. Creepy, scary. All right, so it's sickening. One of the things that you need to do is tell people. You need to tell everybody. A lot of women, victims of stalking, don't tell anybody. They're embarrassed. They just don't. Tell everybody you know. Tell your neighbors, tell friends, tell family members. Send them the same messages that you get so that there's a record of them. In case something happens to your phone, you want a record of everything. Take notes, take logs, write a log, do all that kind of stuff. Okay, what exactly that he does. So just make sure that everybody knows, including your neighbors, so everybody can be on the lookout. I might even go tell his neighbors. Don't respond to him as much as you want to. Tell him off, or stop writing me back. Don't, because she wrote me back. Even though it's negative, she wrote me back. She must like me. They have a warped sense. They don't think normally, and they have a very warped sense of everything. So don't ever respond. You might get a restraining order. I don't think restraining orders stop them in any way, but it's a record. I think all the records that you can have and keep in case something were to happen to you, that's the first person that they can look at. And if there's not a restraining order, then it must not be that bad. Restraining orders usually don't stop criminals or psychopaths, but at least it's a record of something that's happening to you. I would also fill out the police report every time he creeps me out. So write a police report, because the more evidence you have, in case something does happen to you or you do something to him and there's a criminal suit or something, criminal or civilian suit, just the more records the better. I would also send them to your friend or a relative. That way they also have that same journal or record. I like the paperwork. Switch up routines. Leave work at various times. Hang out at a different bar. Hang out at a different place. Drive across to another gym, across the city to another gym. Switch your routines up so it's not every day you do the same thing. Park someplace different. Let's see. Now, if you do contact the police, they can go talk to him. That can either be good or bad. It might stop him. It might make him mad. You might not know how he's going to react. So if they do go talk to him, you want to make sure that they call you when they do that, so that you can stay at somebody else's house for a night or two, because you don't want that first level of emotion to affect you. his level of emotion to affect you. So stay away for a couple days. You might have to move. I'd also tell, if I live in an apartment like she did, I tell the apartment complex, look, this is what's going on. You know, is there any chance you could do anything? When is his lease up? I might have to move. Can you help me out so that you don't have to pay maybe extra fees or something like that? And you can tell him that you also got, you know, a restraining order. He's been warned, but he still contacts me. I would definitely, if I live in an apartment, you might have to move and change places. Let's see what else. You also need something to defend yourself in case he were to come by. So you need to arm yourself. If you don't want a firearm, then I would use this stun gun. Because I think, oh, I turned it off, sorry. Turn it on here. Find the button at the bottom. And you'd have it on when you were obviously walking around and back and forth to your car. So that's this her friend or her relative, his relative, wanted this. So that's good that she's at least has something to arming herself. All right. Now, he says forget about restraining orders. I disagree. I think that they're just part of the record history that he has. And that way, if he has the restraining order, if anybody else were to be stalked by him, there's a record, a trail. That way, other people would know, other women. The bottom line, there isn't any guarantee that any solution really is good, is the right, that the stalker will go, oh yeah, I'm sorry, because they're mentally disturbed. But you're in a position now that you know, tell people, arm yourself. Okay, keep journals, keep logs, restraining orders, police reports, whatever. You know, you have a better chance of surviving. And maybe he'll stop. Otherwise, it definitely might have to move. But if you live in a house, that's even harder. I'm sorry. I think that's just creepy. A couple other things about stalking. You can have a P.O. box, or you can have a UPS store as a real address. Some companies don't ship to a P.O. box. I would probably have the real address. That way all your mail can go there. And somebody can look you up and they'll find out that it's a store. So that's something that you can do. It does cost money, but you know, it might be worth having it for 6 months or so until you really feel secure that guy's away. If you need to move in an apartment, go for it. Can't move in a house too much, but you could put a for sale sign up or a sold sign up for a couple weeks, and then move your furniture, maybe move it out of the window, the front window or something, so he can look in and see that there's nothing there, it's empty, and maybe tell everybody to tell him that you've moved out of town. You might need to go live someplace because your car could still be there, so you might need to live someplace else for a month or so. So that's something else to think about doing. I'm going to talk now about trunk latches. Trunks now have a latch in them. Ever since 2001, okay, it's 2017, and I'm just finding out about this because we were always told punch the window, or not the window, the tail light out. You punch that out and you wave your hand. But you know what? People have been getting out because, or girls have been getting out because they have trunk latches. I didn't know that. My husband didn't know that. And we're going, why didn't they tell us this? So, teach your children how to get out. Tell your children not to get in. And the reason why they did that is because people have died in there, and children, what great place to hide. So, tell everybody you know about the trunk latches. The other thing I want to talk about is RAID. I had mentioned using RAID as a self-defense tool, but I found out I can't do that. So RAID is not a self-defense tool. Can't do that because legally it's not its intended purpose. So I can't tell you to use a fork as an improvised weapon because that's not an intended purpose either from your kitchen. Yeah. Okay. I checked on bear spray at Cabela's, and bear spray is maybe a little bit more potent, and not the ones the police have. Police have very potent ones, and that's usually called mace, but it's pepper spray, and that's usually illegal. But bear spray is not. It's pepper spray is all it is. And they have many different sizes, from the little one that I showed you to the big bear spray for bears. Again, I'm always just afraid of the wind. I live in the plains. It's usually breezy here. It's always some kind of wind here. So I just would not use that. Probably wouldn't use it indoors either, because once it gets indoors, you'll be breathing that stuff too. Talk about virtual kidnapping is a new thing going on. Virtual kidnapping is happening in probably the southern half of California, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, the southern states close to the border of Mexico, because they think the calls are coming from Mexico. And so if you're a mother of a daughter that's in school, college, away at college, and you get a phone call and saying that we've just kidnapped your daughter, we're holding her for ransom, what do? Panic. There goes that moment. All right, you panic. You're not thinking straight. You have brain freeze. Remember the tunnel vision, the eyesight, everything kind of goes. Well, she hears a voice in the background saying, "Mom, help me, I've been kidnapped." She thinks it's her daughter. It sounds like her. And that's probably in a little bit of an illusion, because you're in panic mode. You don't panic if it's somebody else's kid, but yours, you're going to panic. And so they wanted so much money, $7,000 or something. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but she had to either go to the bank, get a wire transfer, or she had to go get the prepaid cards and give them the phone numbers enough. So I know one person, they wouldn't let her off the phone. They told her they were watching her, so she didn't call the police. She couldn't get a hold of her daughter. So it's scary. So when you get a phone call like that, tell them you don't have a car. Call you back. Or give me your phone number. I'll call you back when I can get my hands on a car or get a ride. Yeah, they probably not call you back. That way you also can call the police. You can try to get a hold of your daughter. You can do a little bit more. So virtual kidnapping, awful. Okay. Now, if you ever come to your car from work or a store and there is a shirt wrapped around your windshield or wipers, all right, and maybe put out a little bit on the windshield, so you really have to get out and remove it. All right, one girl came across this, and she had heard about it or read about it on the Facebook or something. So she had heard about it, and when she came up on her car, she noticed that there was another car running with a guy sitting in it. And she thought that was a little odd for that place. So she got in her car, locked her doors, and here's the shirt on her windshield wiper. Well, you either start driving, and if it's on more of your windshield than you can see out of, I'd be driving backwards to the place of work, to the store door, someplace where I can honk my horn, lay on my horn, set my panic button off from the remote, just someplace else where I could get help. Somebody would be coming out and go, "Oh yeah, well, you can't park here, what's going on?" Because once you get out of your car and start unwinding that, your back is turned and you can't see somebody from on the other side of the car hiding, jumping out. That's how they're catching women for human sex trafficking. So be aware of the abnormal. Remember, surroundings. Be aware of everything, including what's around and on your car. I looked back in the video and I forgot to tell you that the daughter is fine of the virtual kidnapping. She was in class with her phone off, doing what she's supposed to do. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a video of an elderly couple that steps out of their house front door where they have a porch. They were going somewhere, but they need awareness, and I bet now they'll have awareness. Till next time, stay alert, 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 please.